Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're in the middle of our unit on making a first impression. And today we're going to learn some practical skills, some key expressions that you'll use to make a good first impression when you're making arrangements in a business situation, emailing and following up on the email. So more about that in a minute. First, a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone so we don't get a lot of background noise in the classroom. When you are speaking, tune in to the words you learn. Use them as actively as you can so that I can correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. Today we're going to go on to the next section of our unit, part 2 of 5. There's an 8-part class, but there's 5 sections to each unit. Section 2 is business communication skills, and that's exactly what we're going to work on today. Let me just see if I can get my presentation open for you. 1 second. Let's see if I can get it open here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so on your screen right now, let me just close my other documents. On your screen right now, you'll see the first page of the presentation. If you need a link to this, let me quickly give you the link. You don't need this because you can look at the screen. Okay? But here's the link to presentation 2. Okay, so you've got the link in the chat window, and I'll also put it for you in the group chat if you want to open this. Okay, but you can follow along on screen. So, in this unit, we're going to be talking about first impressions. You'll be introducing yourself by email, making a follow-up phone call, and arranging to meet someone and exchange contact details. These are all the different activities we're going to be doing. Most of those are going to be in this section today. And finally, at the end of the unit, not the class, but the end of the unit, next week most likely, we're going to use what we've learned to revise our knowledge of the present simple and continuous so that we're using the right verb tenses in that situation, the email and the follow-up phone call. Today specifically, we're working on business communication skills. We're going to start by introducing yourself through email. So let's take a quick look. By the way, welcome back Giuseppe and Francesco. Welcome back Bayara from last class. Nice to have you. By the way, Bayara, where are you from?
From Mongolia.
From Mongolia. Fantastic. You are our second Mongolian. There's another one.
Thanks.
There was another one. I don't remember his name now. I haven't seen him in a while, but there was someone else a while ago. I don't think it was you. I think it was someone else. This is your first time, right?
Yeah, right.
I have to find out your compatriot. He was here a while ago. Let's say also a quick hello to who's next to you, Bayara? I can't see her name. Ah, Araceli. Wait a second. I know you.
Yes.
It's been a while. You were in the short stories class a while ago.
Yes, I have been in your classes for a long time, I think, yes.
You were in the class where we were reading about Perfect Day for Banana Fish. You were in that class.
Yeah,
right?
you remember that, yes.
Don't ask me how I remember, but I remember. Okay, we're working on business skills in this class. Okay, and as you can see, we're exchanging information, introducing yourself by email, making a follow-up phone call, but all of that is in the context of making a good first impression. So not just doing these things, but doing these things in the right way. That's our goal. So I want you to read the email from Ivan Formanek, owner of a translation agency in Prague, and you're going to answer these questions after reading the email. The email is very, very short. It's not that challenging. You'll see. But you're going to answer 3 questions. How did he find out about Sean McPhee? That's the other guy you're going to be reading about and listening to. Why is he contacting him, and what does he ask Sean to do? So you're going to be reading for the gist. Those are the 3 questions you're going to answer. Here's the email. What do you think, Francesco? Do you think you could read the email for us, for the group?
Yeah, sure. Dear Mr. McPhee, my name is Ivan Formanek, and I have my own translation agency. Simply speaking. Simply speaking. I was given you details by one of your former colleagues, Ursula Vladikova. She recommended you to me as we are planning to renew our website. If you're interested in discussing this further, could you either call us or send an email in reply, and we will arrange a meeting with you. Best regards, Ivan Formanek.
Okay, very good. So, what do you think, Giuseppe? Would you consider this a formal or informal email?
Well, I consider it a formal email.
I agree. And what are the features that make it formal here? Can you pick out some features that make it sound less informal than a normal email, more formal than a normal email?
Well, the introduction, because it starts...
Mr. McPhee?
Dear Mr. McPhee. And simply speaking.
Anything else? What about simply speaking?
Well, it started off with the introduction.
That's the name. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was saying that he started off the introduction by saying his name and his business affair in a formal way. Right.
So he basically introduces, he gives his identity, right? Who he is and what he does. So that wouldn't be necessary in an informal email because you know the person. Absolutely. Okay. Let's just say a quick hello to, how do I say your name? Obaid? How do I say your name? Hello? Obaid? Next to Yuki?
Hi.
I was trying to say hello to the guy next to you, but he's not answering. Okay. Mr. Obaid, when you get your microphone on, say hello to the group, okay? So, since you're there, Yuki, is there anything else besides what Giuseppe said that shows you this is a formal email? He talked about the introduction. He talked about the greeting, dear Mr. McPhee, and he talked about the introduction. What would you say about the closing of the letter, of the email? Is that formal too?
Yes. In the closing of this email, he wrote. He asked the interest. How to say? He asked how interested in how Mr. McPhee interested in his offer, and if he has interest, how to say?
So let's focus on the word offer for a second. Does he make an offer or a promise to Mr. McPhee? Does Ivan make an offer or promise to Mr. McPhee in the end of this letter?
I think it offer.
Yeah, exactly. What's the offer? He does make a little offer, not a formal offer, but he makes an offer there, and it's important because I think you're absolutely right in recognizing that when you have a formal letter, we typically, and I notice this is not the same in every culture, but I can absolutely tell you in English, we typically make a future promise or a future offer. And there's one here. What's the future offer here, Yuki?
And his offer is that he's ready to create the new website of Mr. McPhee's company.
Well, I wouldn't talk about that. That's their business together. The offer I was thinking of is the last line. We will arrange a meeting with you if you're interested. Just because there's usually some kind of promise or offer that is kind of like a hook to get the person to keep corresponding with you, to keep talking with you or keep writing. So an offer to do something. Here, it's kind of an offer to arrange a meeting, but it's conditional. You know, if you're interested, if you're not, fine. But if you are, so it's not a bad example. So we'll look at other business correspondences where you'll see there's always a promise of future action that perpetuates the relationship in some way, that continues the relationship. Okay, and also the sign-off, best regards. Okay, it's not formal, it's not informal, it's kind of neutral, but maybe it sounds appropriate in a business letter because it's not too personal. Like you wouldn't want to sign it, kisses, Ivan Formanek. That's a little bit too informal, right? No kisses, no hugs. All right, let's go back to our 3 questions. Let's see if you picked up everything you need to pick up from this short email. Let me go to, let's start with, again, it's a little hard to see your names, who's here. Okay, let's start with Bayora. Can you answer the first question for us? How did he find out about Sean McPhee? From what we read, how did he find out about Sean McPhee?
Okay. We can find him. There is no information of first question.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Bayara? Look at the first paragraph again. There is. Look at the first paragraph.
Oh yeah. I got it. Translation agency. Yeah.
After that, I was given your details by one of your former colleagues, Ursula Vladikova.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So let's go back for a second. How did he find out about Sean McPhee? He found out from a mutual colleague. He found out from a colleague. Now,
Yes.
why am I asking that question? I'm asking that question because in a business correspondence, it's not good to send what we call unsolicited letters or unsolicited emails. Unsolicited means nobody asked you. If you're writing with no one asking you, that may be a letter that someone will ignore. So you've got to show that you have a connection to that person. So the real reason for that question is to point out that when you're writing a business letter, you have to make a connection to the person you're writing to. You show them who you are and that you have a reason to write to them. I know you because of Ursula Vladikova. So that's the purpose of the question, just to keep in mind for the future. Let me ask Araceli. Is it Araceli or it's Araceli, isn't it? Not Aracelli, Araceli, right?
No, well, exactly, it's Araceli. It's like,
Araceli.
I read, it's like a C in Spanish, it's pronounced like that. I wrote it, I typed it.
Okay.
It's like Araceli.
Araceli.
I know it's
Why, Araceli? Why is he contacting him? So why is Ivan contacting, let's go back to the letter. Why is Ivan contacting Sean McPhee? What's the purpose?
because he wants to renew his website. Maybe this guy works in that, like designing websites.
Yeah, maybe he's a designer. In the last class, we talked about website localization. We listened to an expert expert talk about web design, specifically localizing a website. So we can probably guess that this guy is a web designer, probably. Okay? And finally, let's see if we've got Mr. Obaid working now. Obaid, do you have your microphone working? Obaid, are you there? Hello? Obaid? Hello? Okay, he's not working. Back to Francesco. What exactly does Sean... Oh, wait, is that you? Who was that?
Francesco.
Oh, Francesco, I thought you were Obaid. Francesco, what does Ivan ask Sean to do? Let's just clarify that before we move on. What does he ask him to do?
He asked to Mr. McPhee to call or send an email in reply, and we will arrange a meeting.
Right.
Arrange a meeting.
And that's so obvious that you don't really need to write it. So why does he write it? I mean, everyone will know that everyone is going to do that. So why write it? What did I say earlier about a future promise?
To arrange a meeting?
Yeah. Remember what I said earlier about making future promises in a business context?
Okay.
Do you remember what I said?
Yeah, to arrange a meeting for if Mr. McPhee is interesting in a proposal.
Right, but more importantly, we often end a business correspondence with some kind of a promise, some kind of an action.
Okay.
And it's just a convention. In Portuguese, that's not how you end a letter. In Portuguese, you end a letter by saying, without anything to add, I'm saying goodbye, something like that. It's an expression.
Okay.
That sounds terrible in English. You don't state that you have nothing to say. That's the worst thing you could do. So it's a cultural thing. We tend to make a future promise, and it just shows you that you're interested in it, you're following up. That's very loud. Somebody has a truck going by the window. Francesco, do you have a truck in your house?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I think it was coming from you, though. Okay, so look, now we've looked at an email. Now you're going to listen. Sean ends an email. Wait a second. Sean sends an email in reply to Ivan and then calls him. I want you to listen to the conversation and answer 3 questions. Again, these are gist questions, general questions. You're listening for the gist. All right? So listen carefully. Whoops, 1 second. This is number 2. Okay, here we go. So this is the follow-up phone call. Ivan. Ivan Formanek, how can I help you? Sean. Hello, Ivan. This is Sean McPhee. I'm calling about the email I sent you regarding your new website. Ivan. Oh, hello. Yes, I remember. Thanks for responding so quickly. Sean. No problem. I was wondering if you had time to look through the portfolio I sent. Ivan. Yes, I have. Your work looks very interesting. Sean. Exactly what do you want to do? Do you want to change the whole website or just update parts of it? Ivan. Well, we're currently updating our corporate image, which means redesigning the logo, the brochures, the website, basically everything. We've already done some of this in-house, but we need help with the website in particular. Sean. Well, I could certainly help you with that. Ivan. Great. I'd suggest we meet to discuss things further. I have to be honest, though, you aren't the only designer we're talking to right now. Sean. I understand. So when would you like to meet? Ivan. Well, I go to Berlin once a month to interpret for a client of ours. I'm covering for a colleague who's on maternity leave. In fact, I'm leaving the day after tomorrow, but we can meet when I get back. Sean. Fine. Whatever's best for you. Ivan. let's say provisionally Tuesday the 13th at 11 o'clock, and I'll get my assistant to call you later today to confirm. You'll be traveling from Krakow, won't you? Sean, that's right. Ivan, it might be best to discuss travel arrangements with my assistant then. Her name is Catherine, by the way. Fine. Well, thanks for your time. Ivan, you're welcome. See you in a couple of weeks. Okay, what was the purpose of the call? What would you say, Giuseppe? What was the overall purpose of the call?
The purpose of the call is to.
Purpose of the call was
responding to the email sent back by Ivan.
Good. No, we don't say responding. We don't say responding. Look at the title at the top of the page. Which word could we use instead of responding?
Reply.
Up there on the top of the page. I don't see the word replying at the top of the page.
Introducing.
So look, we got exchange.
Exchange information, making a follow-up call, arranging to meet, introducing yourself by mail.
So which of those is a good synonym for responding to the email? Responding.
Exchanging.
Exchanging? Really? Really?
No.
This is the phone call, isn't it? So notice what we call the phone call at the top of the screen there. Making a follow-up phone call, right? Making a
follow-up call. Yes, exactly.
Right? So instead of responding, we'll say, as a verb, use the gerund. Or following up. Following up. Clear?
Yeah, is it clear?
Okay, so what are we doing? What's the purpose of the call? Following up. And you can use the preposition on. Following up on the email that he had received. Following up on the email. Following up on. Good key word. Following up on. Not responding. Responding is too general. Following up means responding specifically to something that was sent. A specific response. Just so that's clear. That's one of our keywords for the unit, a follow-up call, making a follow-up call. All right, and let's see. What do you think, Yuki, what do you think what's the best way to describe the outcome of this follow-up call from what you heard?
Outcome of this phone call is that
you should use the past, by the way. The outcome was.
Outcome was that. Can I? Outcome.
Yeah.
The outcome was that this translation agency. How to say? Ivan confirmed the purpose of outline of creating the website, and he knew that there would be the meeting where all designer for recreating this site gather, and he also knew the schedule of the meeting and how to contact to assistant.
So all those things you mentioned could be summed up in one of those phrases at the top of the screen. All those things you mentioned could be summarized by one of those phrases. Look at the top of the screen and tell me which phrase best summarizes those ideas you mentioned.
Exchanging information. No?
I disagree.
Making a whole follow-up call.
I disagree.
Yeah. Arranging to meet.
Arranging to meet. Yeah, In other words, what's the outcome? Well, they arranged to meet. And everything you mentioned is part of the arrangement. Pretty much everything you mentioned, because it's about, you can talk to my assistant, we'll know when, we'll know where. So basically, the outcome is that they've arranged to meet to discuss things further. They haven't given an outline of how to do the website. I'm not sure why you said outline. An outline is like, you know, giving the structure. But they didn't.
But first half of the phone call, Ivan
Right.
Ivan wanted to know how the client want to renew renew the website. He knew
That's true.
that client want to renew basically everything.
True. Yes. Yes, that's true. But how is that an outline? Do you see what I'm saying? The word outline implies a structure, a schematic structure, a general structure. Like, I'm going to write an outline for my composition, and the outline will be bullet points on a page. So the word outline, that's the part. You could say, I'm going to outline the action I'm going to take. That means sketch out the structure, what you're going to do first, second, third. But I don't know how outline works here. You're right that they talk about what the client needs. The client says, well, we're currently updating our corporate image, which means redesigning the logo, the brochures, and the website, basically everything. We've already done some of this in-house, but we need help with the website in particular. So you're absolutely right. They're redesigning everything. But it's just the word outline that I want to draw your attention to. The only thing you could say here is that the client outlines the changes that need to be made. You could use outline in that way. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah? In other words, outline here means the same as layout. Lays out the plan, outlines the plan. That way you could use it. Just so that's clear. And you're right. They're going to change basically everything. And here's a detail question. I know that Ahmed, you didn't hear the phone call, but if you're following along, I'm not going to ask you this question because you didn't hear it, I don't think. But if you're following along, we're reading the email, which is on the previous slide, page 5, and we just listened to a follow-up phone call, and we're going to work on some key expressions you can use to make arrangements, and also to try to have the right first impression. Because the people in the email and the phone call, they don't know each other. So it's very important that they make the right first impression, because the guy, the web designer, might not get the job. So he's got to make the right impression. Just a point to keep in mind. Let me ask Araceli, because you were listening, why is there a delay before the meeting can take place? That's a detailed question now. Why was there a delay before the meeting could take place? Do you remember?
I didn't understand that part very well. I think he said he had to leave. He had to go out, and there was some of his co-worker with a maternity leave or something like that.
Right,
but I didn't understand.
Well, that's basically it. Yeah, he's covering for a colleague who's on maternity leave, so he has to make a little business trip. Ivan is going to be in Berlin the day after tomorrow, so he can't meet the guy right away. Right? So that's basically, he's covering for someone who's on maternity leave. Okay, that was a little detailed question, just to make sure you're paying attention to the details. Look at this, though. Here are some of the key expressions you've just heard. All you have to do is try to match them together. So what we're going to do, as we often do, is just go around the room very quickly, match them together, put them in categories, and then use them. That's how this works. We pick out key expressions. We always do this for listening because you need to hear these in a real context. They won't make sense if you see them in isolation. You need to see them in real context. So let's go from right to left, starting with Yuki. Number 1, I'm calling about. Which is the best match to that sentence?
I'm calling about the email I sent to you regarding.
Fantastic. That's it. So number 1 is A. Are you joining us, I forgot how to say your name. Obaid, are you joining us? Do you have your mic on, Mr. Obaid? Going once, going twice. Giuseppe. Yes, I, number 2.
Remember. Yes, I remember.
Yes, I remember. That was short. Very good. Number 2 is C. Yes, I remember. Francesco, number 3.
Thanks for responding so quickly.
Very good. And Bayara, number 4.
Number 4 is I have to look through portfolio I sent.
So read the whole thing for us. I wondered. Read the whole thing.
I wondered if you had time to look through the portfolio I sent.
Absolutely. That's it. I wondered if you had time. So notice it's in the past, but it's got an if. When we use an if in the past.
In the past?
Right.
Yeah.
We call that the second conditional. The second conditional uses typically would, could, should, or might. Or we can substitute would, could, should, or might with an expression like I wish or I wonder. So I wondered if you had time to what was it? If you had time to look through the portfolio I sent. So it's basically a second conditional. In other words, you're speculating about the present. That's what the second conditional does. You're speculating. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. I'm speculating about the present in that case. So just to point that out, wonder is a key word that substitutes the second conditional, a would, could, or should. All right, we're on to Araceli with number 5.
I suggest we meet to discuss things further.
That's it. Perfect. I suggest we meet to discuss things further. And Ahmed, even though you weren't listening, there's only one choice left for number 7. So you can't go wrong.
7 or 6?
Did we skip 6?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Try 6.
Fine. Whatever best for you.
For 6, fine. Whatever sounds right to me. Oh, right. Number D. That's it. Yeah, I see it. Whatever's best for you. That's it. And Yuki, last one, number 7.
Let's say provisionally Tuesday, the 13th at 11 o'clock.
Right. Provisionally. Can you think of a substitute word for provisionally? Just so that it's clear. What would be a synonym for provisionally?
In advance.
In advance?
No.
Not necessarily. You're right. You're right about provisionally. But let's think about it in a practical way.
Temporary.
Temporarily, right? Temporarily. Provisionally. Let's say temporarily. Let's say for now. Right, that means that it may change. Let's say provisionally. Okay, very good. As I said, we want to pick out the key expressions, and then we want to categorize them. If you put them in categories, they're easy to remember, easier to remember, and therefore easier to use. We got 3 categories here. Making a follow-up call, responding to a follow-up call, and arranging to meet. Okay, 3 categories, A, B, and C. So let's go back to the list and see if you can categorize these, A, B, and C. Remember, I'm going to keep flipping back and forth because it might be hard to remember. Making a follow-up call, responding. So let's call this making, responding, and arranging. Making a call, responding to the call, and arranging. Okay? So we're back to Giuseppe. I want you to take the first expression and put it into one of those three categories.
I'm calling about the email I sent you regarding. Is matches with A, making a follow-up call.
Right. So this is making the call. I'm calling about. So that's how you would introduce the call. Okay. And Francesco, where would the phrase number 2 go in that list?
Yes, I remember.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, I remember in making a follow-up call.
So they're both making a follow-up call. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, hang on a second. Yes, I remember. I guess we have to listen to it a second time to remember the details here. But you're not the one calling if you say that, Francesco. Okay. You're not the one calling. You're the one answering.
Yeah, responding to follow-up call.
Yeah, it's responding. Right. You're the receiver of the call, so it's got to be responding.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bayura, where would number 3 go? Making, responding, or arranging a meeting?
It's responding to follow-up call.
I agree. So, yeah. Hang on one second. What is that number? 3 is... Sorry, my material is different than yours. I have to go take a look. 3. Where is 3? Yeah, there we go. Got it.
Best for you.
Yeah, sorry, my PDF on my computer is a little different than the one I'm showing you. That's why I have to keep flipping back and forth. So responding to a follow-up call, because it's 3 matching with E. So thanks for responding so quickly. Thanks for responding so quickly. Wait a second. Thanks for responding so quickly. Wait. Who says that in the recording? Is that the caller, or was that the receiver? Was that Sean, or was that Ivan, who says thanks for responding?
I think that's receiver.
I think you're right. I got confused, but yes, I think you're right. Well, I can go back to the text. I can go back to the transcription, but I think you're right. Yeah. It's the receiver. Okay, so that means that brings us up to Araceli with number 4.
I wonder if you've had time to look at the portfolio. Is the responding to the follow-up call? I don't remember it. No, I think it's a...
Is it the caller, the receiver?
Yeah, it's the caller.
It's the caller, right?
Yeah.
So in our list, it's making the follow-up call. It's the person making the follow-up call, right? It's the caller, exactly. Okay. Ahmed, you weren't here for the call, so I don't know. Well, but you can tell me. You can try it. Number 5. So read number 5 for us one more time.
Okay. Number 5. I suggest we meet to look through the portfolio.
Nope. We said earlier to discuss
things further.
Making, responding, or arranging?
Making, I guess.
Making a follow-up call?
Arranging? Do you mean?
Don't you agree? That it's arranging to me? Because look, I suggest we meet to discuss things further. So it's the follow-through action at the end of the call. Let's meet after we've discussed the project. We've discussed that there is a need for you. So let's meet
arranging
to work out. Yeah, it's an arrangement for the meeting. It's the follow-up to the follow-up call. It's what they're going to do afterwards. Okay? And Yuki, we're back to number 6.
Let's say provisionally Tuesday, the 13th at 11 o'clock. It's arranging to meet.
It's also arranging to meet. Okay, and we skipped 1. So Giuseppe, look at 6. We skipped that one.
Fine, whatever's best for you.
Remember in the audio when the person said that at the end of the call. If you remember the context, you'll know which one it is.
I guess C.
C, arranging
to meet.
I agree. Do you remember what they were discussing when that came up?
When we were talking about the place to arrange a meeting.
Yeah, I guess the time or the place, one or both. So whatever's best for you is a good key expression, because you want to give. This guy wants the job, so he's got to make himself convenient. Okay, whatever's best for you, right? Even if it's not convenient for him, he's got to kind of say that because he needs the job, so he's going to make himself as flexible as he can. Okay, we've got a little bit of time. I think we can do this one as well. Listen to a call Sean receives and answers questions 1 to 3. Is that right? Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, last listening. But this one is a little bit shorter. Here we go. So remember, in the last listening, what we just did, it was Ivan and Sean. Sean was calling about the email that he had sent. And the email that he sent is this one, right? Designer for a new website needed. I have my own translation. That's Ivan. Sorry. Sorry. Hold on a second. This gets confusing. This is Sean Maffei. I'm calling you about the email I sent you regarding your new website. So Sean had responded to this. There's a missing piece here. Sean had responded. Ivan is trying to get the designer. Sean is the designer. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. So if we go ahead here, we're listening to the follow-up call. First, the details. Who is calling? How will Sean know how to find simply speaking? What is the transportation? And then for the specific phrases that he uses, the details. I'm going to just read it once, and let's see if you can get all of the details in one go. Let's see. If not, I'll do it twice. It's pretty short. Okay? So, here we go. Sean. Hello, Sean McPhee. The person on the phone. Hello, this is Catherine. Ivan Formanek's assistant. I'm calling about the meeting on Tuesday the 13th. Sean. Oh, right. Oh, wait. Sean's got a low voice, doesn't he? Oh, right. Thanks. I wanted to speak to you about that. I'm actually going to be in Prague already, as I've arranged to meet some other clients on Monday. Catherine. Okay. Sean. Can you tell me how I get to Simply Speaking? Is it best by taxi or public transport? Catherine. Public transport's fine. Let me know where you're staying, and I'll email you a map and directions from your hotel. Sean. Thanks. Another thing I wanted to check. How long are you scheduling the meeting for? There's a train that leaves at 3 o'clock. Will I have time to catch that one, or should I take a later one? Catherine. Well, we'll definitely be finished by 2 at the latest. It only takes 20 minutes to get to the station, so you'll have plenty of time. Sean. Thanks. I'll probably take a taxi to the station to be sure. Catherine. Okay. When you arrive at the company, give your name to reception, and they'll send you up to us on the 5th floor. And let me know if you need a taxi. I'll book one for you. Sean. That's very kind. Thanks a lot. See? I told you. Short? Francesco, who is calling Sean and why? Based on what you heard. Who is calling Sean and why?
Sean called
Sean didn't call anyone.
No, sorry. Is Catherine, Ivan assistant, calling Sean?
Is calling Sean.
Is calling Sean to arrange the meeting.
Absolutely, and also, more importantly, she's calling to confirm because Ivan said we'll get a confirmation call later. So this is the confirmation call, and they're also arranging some of the details. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And we lost Beira. He was here. Now he's gone. So, Araceli, how will Sean know how to find Simply Speaking? How will he know?
Because Catherine is sending him some information or how how to get there by.
Right. What's she gonna send him specifically, and how is she gonna send it to him? What's she gonna send him specifically? Do you remember?
I don't know. It's like a map or something.
Like a map, right? And how is she gonna get it to him?
I remember she said she was sending that to his hotel, maybe.
Right. That's right. Is she gonna send it by pigeon? Is it gonna fly in through the window?
I don't know. A letter or an email. I don't remember.
It's going to be an email.
An email.
Right? So she's going to email him a map and directions. That's how he's going to know how to find it once he gets to his hotel. Okay? And Yuki, what transportation is he going to use?
Public taxi or public transportation.
Right. So he's going to use public transport. That's right. He's going to use public transport. Because he's asking details about the train or whatever it was. Exactly. Okay. Now, this is the important part. This is where you learn English. What phrase does Sean use to inquire about transportation, about transport? This is going to be a little difficult. You might have to listen to it a second time. Okay? But try your best. What does he actually say to inquire about transport? Does anyone remember his actual words?
Probably there is a train which leaves at...
Well, that's what Catherine says, right? But how does he inquire about it? That's Catherine's response, but what does Sean ask?
Which is the best way to get over the destination?
Okay.
And he asks about.
Wait. First, let's do that. Okay. His exact words were, "Is it best by taxi or public transport? Is it best by? Is it best by?" Okay. So you got the right idea. His exact words were, "Is it best by public transport or taxi?" And a little bit earlier, he said, "Can you tell me how I get to?" Can you tell me how I get to? Notice he uses the word get. That's the universal verb in English. We can use get to mean anything. So here, get means travel. How do I travel to? Can you tell me how I get to Simply Speaking? Is it best by taxi or public transport? That's it. How does he refer to the time of the train? That's the second question. What can you remember from the listening you did? Uh-oh, no one's got that one. Actually, it says, how does Sean refer to it? But I don't remember if Sean is referring to the time of the train. I think Catherine's referring to the time of the train. I don't know. I can't. Maybe he does.
He asked about something. He said, "Shall he get the earlier train?"
Right.
Then he said, "You will have time," or something like that, because it takes 20 minutes. I don't know, walk, something like that.
That's the right idea. Okay, I think it's better that we listen to it a second time, briefly, because there's a reason you've got to listen to these. It's not just for the key expressions. It's also for the verb tense that's being used. Listen a second time. It's very short. Listen again. Look at the questions on the screen while you're listening. Sean. Hello, Sean McPhee here. Oh, sorry. Hello, Sean McPhee here. Catherine. Sean's got a low voice. I have to do that gruffy low voice. Catherine. Hello, this is Catherine, Ivan Formanic's assistant. I'm calling about the meeting on Tuesday the 13th. Sean. Oh, right. I wanted to speak to you about that. I'm actually going to Prague already, as I've arranged to meet some other clients on the Monday. Catherine. Okay. Sean. Can you tell me how I get to Simply Speaking? Is it best by taxi or public transport? Catherine. Public transport's fine. Let me know where you're staying and I'll email you a map and directions from your hotel. Sean. Thanks. Another thing I wanted to check. How long are you scheduling the meeting for? There's a train that leaves at 3 o'clock, and I wanted to know if I would have time to catch that one, or if I should take a later one. Catherine. We'll be finishing by 2 at the latest. It only takes 20 minutes to get to the station, so you'll have plenty of time. Thanks. I'll probably take a taxi to the station, just to be sure. Okay. When you arrive at the company, give your name to reception, and they'll send you up to us on the 5th floor. And let me know if you need a taxi, and I'll book one for you. Sean. Thanks. That's very kind. Thanks a lot. You're great. Sean's being very polite. Okay. So now that you've heard it a second time, what is his expression to refer to the time of the train? What phrase does he use?
For how long are scheduling?
The meeting. That's about the meeting. And then after that, he talks about the train. How long are you scheduling the meeting for? Because. Because why?
Yes. I don't know, because there are two trains. Some
Okay.
early, some late.
Well, tell me this, Ahmed. There are two
Yeah.
trains. There are two trains, right?
Yes.
Okay. What time does the train leave? The train that he wants. Do you remember?
Do something?
Well, he wants to leave at 2 because the train is leaving at 3. And he wants to have time to catch the train, right?
I think.
So if he says, how long are you scheduling the meeting for? Because, how would you finish the sentence, because?
Because
3 o'clock, don't forget, 3 o'clock. Because,
I have to,
have to, what?
shall to get a train.
Say the whole sentence, say the whole sentence. Because I
don't know, I don't remember what he said.
It doesn't matter what he said, I want you to say it, don't worry.
Okay,
What
because
would you say?
I have to catch or to get train at 3.
Okay, I have to catch. If you say I have to catch, that's like a modal verb. Like I must catch. I have to and must. Okay. If you want to state it as a fact, as a true or false fact, not as a modality, as a fact,
Okay. Because
how would you express it then?
Because there is
Yeah,
train at 3.
there is a
Leave-
train
leave-
at 3.
Yeah, or leaves at 3, something like that, yeah.
Okay, so let's use leaves. There's a train that leaves at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Why would you not, this is to the whole class now. Class, why would you not say there's a train leaving at 3 o'clock? Why would you say there's a train that leaves and not leaving? Leaves is correct. Do you know?
Because it's a scheduled thing.
Exactly. It's a scheduled thing. When we schedule something, we use the present simple. The train leaves at 3. When we arrange something and it's flexible, we say is leaving at 3. So the difference is when it's on a fixed schedule, we must use the present simple because it's a fact. It's written down on a schedule. It's a fact. Therefore, we use the present simple because that's the most concrete, real tense we have. If you say the train is leaving, it means there's a possibility that it might not leave. So that would be confusing. That's why I'm pointing that out, because the verb tense is actually important here. Next, how does he discuss the possibility of catching the train? Do you remember what he asks about the possibility? Because he doesn't want to miss it, right? Does anyone remember what he said here?
He said he will probably take a taxi instead of a train.
That's absolutely true. And just before the taxi, he asked a question about the window of time he had. Remember?
He was asking if when the meeting was going to finish because he needed time to catch the train.
Right. How would you ask that as a question, Araceli?
I don't remember, but something like, how long do you think the meeting is going to last?
Then the follow-up question that he would ask about the train?
And do you think I'll have time enough to get to the train station?
Okay, that's good. How long do you think the meeting will last? And do you think I'll have time enough to get to the train station? We'd probably say, do you think I'll have enough time? Not time enough time.
Okay.
So enough goes first. Do you think I'll have enough time to catch the train? Okay, that's fine. You can ask it like that. His exact words were, will I have time to catch the train, or should I take a later one? Those were his exact words. I read it differently a second time. I said, do you think I would have time? Okay, but anyway, the direct question is, will I have time? But what you said also works. It's fine. Will I have enough time? Okay, just to finish up the class, we're really over time, but just to finish up, let's look at Catherine's phrases as well. What phrase does Catherine use to offer help with directions? Remember, she offers help in two forms. With directions, she says, anyone remember? Remember about the map?
Email you the map and the direction.
Right. Let me know where you're staying, and I'll email you a map with your directions. Okay. And the second one, what help does she offer with the taxi?
Let me know if you need
A taxi.
a taxi. Yeah.
And what will I do? I'll
book
for you.
I'll book one for you. I'll book one for you. I'll book one for you. One what? One taxi. I'll book one for you. We can use one as a pronoun sometimes. Do not repeat taxi over and over again. Okay, we're going to stop here. Think. By the way, did everyone do the homework that I sent you yesterday? Did everyone do the homework? Did anyone do the homework?
Yes,
I wasn't here yesterday.
Because I put the answers there, but if you have any questions, you've got to remind me, because I'm not going to go over the answers unless you have a question. But remind me at the beginning of class tomorrow. Okay, your homework for today is think of a situation in your own job where you have to introduce yourself to a company or client. Draft an introductory email. Give the email to your partner. Your job is to write that email, bring it to class, and we're going to exchange emails. Okay? Use the email that we read today as a model. This one here on slide 5. Use that as a model. But write about a real situation that you've really had to encounter in your real job, and then we're going to kind of role play that. Okay, so if we have 2 people doing an email, that'll be good enough. If all of you do it, that'll be even better. Okay, but try to do this as a homework. You can send it to me to correct through the Verbling message system, or you can just bring it to class and share it on your screen. Use the screen sharing. But try that as a homework, everyone, if you can. All right, I've got to go because we are way over time, and I'm 10 minutes late for my next class, and I can't keep being late. Seems like there's nothing I can do to stop it. And I can't close the Hangout. My screen is frozen. So, oh wait, it's working now. It's working. Okay. Let me see if you can see my face. No, it's still frozen. Okay, it's frozen. Wait, it's not frozen. It's frozen. It's not frozen. It's not frozen. See, that's my face. I'm just waving goodbye to everyone. See you next time. I'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Do your homework.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye
Take
for
care.
now.
See you.